Hello everybody, I'm Kath Lavery, I'm the chair of the IDASH board. It's the 28th of November here in Rotherham and we've just completed our board meeting in public. It's about 3:30 and here is my report of the highlights of our board with a small reminder that if you want to see all of the board meeting, if you want to listen to all of it or bits of it, you can access it through our website. We started the day with a staff story, which is about an interesting piece of work around the way we use restraint and isolation on our adult mental health acute wards. Really good to hear how we are putting in new training to minimise the times that we use restraint and isolation in the real sort of intent to make sure that our patients are treated with the respect and dignity that they deserve and that restraint and isolation isn't used all the time, that we only use it when we really have to. And the board received that report very well. It was a really positive way to start our board meeting. Chief Exec's report's always a big item on the agenda, but just good to hear from Toby how well our flu campaign, vaccination campaign is progressing. We are already in front of where we were last year at this time, but still a big push to get us to those 3,000 vaccinations. So if you are a member of staff and you're listening to me right now, I'm sure he's told you enormous number of times, but I'm going to tell you as well, go get your flu jab. We're doing really well this year. The quick report on the number of volunteers that we're recruiting. We have a target to get to 300 volunteers by the end of this financial year, so the end of March. We're standing at 180 right now, which is really good progress. We're sort of expecting to be at 250 sort of by next spring. But we're seeing volunteers come into areas of the trust that they've never been in before. And the diversity of our volunteers is really improving. So great progress, and thanks to everybody who's been involved in that. If you feel like volunteering with our trust, then again, have a look at the website and we'd love to have you. So please do take that opportunity. We took a very important report from Dr. Jude Graham on the progress with our sexual safety charter. We are signed up to the National Sexual Safety Charter, but you will have seen, I'm sure, in the press, some dreadful reports about the safety of staff in the NHS when it comes to sexual abuse. It's something this board takes incredibly seriously. Nobody should come to work and be subject to any sort of abuse. But sexual abuse, whether it's patient on staff or staff on staff, is an incredibly difficult thing for staff to deal with. It means that people sometimes leave us, that they put in their resignations, and we took great heart from the work that Jude is leading on making sure that we have a safe place to work for everybody. We are very conscious that completely eliminating this sort of abuse is probably impossible, but we will minimise it and we will make sure that people do report it, that they don't see it as part of their everyday working life. There's just something you put up with. Mostly women, of course, but not 100% so. Please don't think that's the case. But the vast majority of cases involve women. And that if it does happen, that people are supported properly and we don't treat it lightheartedly. There's nothing lighthearted about sexual abuse, and that we make sure that what are perhaps seen as microaggressions or micro incidents are reported, because they're really not micro at all, are they? So it's a very important report this morning. Our interim chief medical officer, Dr. Dermot Sinclair, gave us a report on research in the trust and how important that is to the work the services that we deliver to patients. It's a hugely significant part of this trust, and of course it adds to that knowledge of science and service delivery. Our public and patients are only too happy to get involved in research, and it was really good to see it taken as a very serious item on this morning's agenda. And we were we were very heartened at the way we're going to take that forward. It's a huge recruitment element for clinical staff too, that they can get involved in research. So that was really good, and thanks to Dermot for leading that report. We took a report from our Director of Finance, from Isas, on productivity. It's a bit of a buzzword, isn't it, in the NHS right now, is productivity. But we commissioned a piece of work as a South Yorkshire Mental Health, Learning Disability and Autism Collaborative, and we took the report of that work. I think we're really starting to see what we can do. And yes, of course, it affects budgets. I mean, productivity affects budgets, but this is really putting the patient at the heart of that, and how it's about improving patient experience and service. As you know, as it's not really the finance element that's driving this. It's about giving doctors more time. It's about, say, putting the patient at the heart of it. But I think we're now getting to grips with what that actually means, and I think that's took some time. Define productivity, and I think the whole of the NHS is struggling with that one. So it was good to see that report come forward this morning. And then just finally, a couple of things. Dr. Graham's second report on being a baby-friendly trust, which must be one of the nicest report titles I've seen in a while. Well, this is a serious issue. Babies and their parents and guardians are very much part of our patient group. So this is a global initiative, a UNICEF initiative, around what it means to be baby-friendly, both for our patients, the babies and their parents and guardians, and indeed for our staff who have babies. So it was a really positive report from Jude, but one that will come back as we look to get that gold standard in being a baby-friendly trust. And it doesn't, it sounds a bit twee, doesn't it? It sounds sort of like pink bunny rabbits and butterflies and stuff, but it's a very serious subject because it all leads into a great childhood, to our programmes around school readiness and our citizens of the future. So it was a great report, but a very serious subject. And finally, we said goodbye to Dawn Leese, who has been a non-executive director at this trust for the last 8 years. Dawn has been our Quality Committee Chair and what's called our SID, our Senior Independent Director. And her job is to deal with my objectives and my PDR, and holding me to account, particularly on behalf of, or with, our lead governor. She'll be very missed. And it was somewhat sad to see her at her last board meeting, but Dr. Richard Falk will be her successor at the Quality Committee. Dave Valance, who is the Vice Chair, as her successor as SID. But yeah, sad day to see Dawn go after 8 years of incredible contribution as a non-executive, and we wish her well for the future. That's all from me today, and I shall look forward to giving you another report in the new year. Thanks very much.